Thanks for being here early in the morning for our European qualifiers for RLCS Season 3. It's time to get in the matches. Who's your first team advancing into RLCS Season play? Is it Pocket or is it Mock It? We're about to find out. Let's go to Leaf and Findable Carpet. We're standing by with the commentary. Take it away, guys.
Thank you, Axel Toss. What's going on, EU, and good morning, North America. I don't know if I need coffee because we have some European Rocket League, and we know that can get exciting. You might need coffee.
I mean, maybe. We say good morning. It's really only good morning for like the left half of the country for us.
That's true.
It's like it's noon over
My
on the
morning's
East
usually like
Coast.
2 in the afternoon.
Yeah, well, that's true. We're not very good at waking up. But these two teams, Mock It and Pocket, you know, the story of the century, I suppose.
This is going to be a
not
confusing
really.
match.
The story of the last few weeks, maybe. One thing I want to give Pashy credit for is for finding teammates. There's one thing he can do. He finds people that people might not expect to be as good. And then it works. I'm not trying to say like he's the one that coaches them. They have a lot of talent. He's a good scout. He finds it. He finds the talent he needs.
Absolutely.
And then he brings them all the way to the finals in Season 2.
Pashy is great at building teams.
Yeah.
If you see him on a team, he's probably got some great picks. I mean, last one, Devo, again, coming out of nowhere, and all of a sudden being one of the all-stars of that season. And now, again, keeping Panda, but putting Shazette on. We already know Shazette to be a strong player, but with Pashy on the roster as well, and already a good duo between Pashy and Panda, Shazette might have that chance to shine. But, I mean, on the other side, Mock It, I mean, Mystic, one of my favorite players, great on camera. I love talking to him. Fairy Peak, K-Dop, these guys are absolutely insane team that have been dominating. This is going to be a great matchup. Coming down into game number 1, Pocket Aces versus Mock It Esports. Best of 5, as they said on the desk. This is a qualifying match for the EU Top 8 League play. One of these teams will be knocked into lowers. They still have a chance, but you want to do it right here, right now, as we get to this best of 5. Mock It already setting up a play. Mystic trying to get that 1v1 skill going on. Can't set anything up for K-Dot, but he will try to set up for Fairy Peak. They're both in there. Mystic better be ready as all 3 of those Aces members moving back down the field. Shazette getting a nice little dunk towards the net. That's actually going to go in. What a dunk from Shazette.
I was actually on Pashy's cam, and he watched Shazette do this weird air dribble, and he seemed a little disappointed. He dropped back. He's like, that's not going to work too well. Shazette instead places himself high above that ball to make sure he gets the dunk. He just wanted to put it in that general direction. Lucky for him, it went straight into the net.
That was a beautiful start to their game. Already off the bat, Ace is looking really strong, and we just talked about Shazette being a very strong player. He's showing you guys right now on the big screen as they put in the first one. Beautiful pass over to Shazette, but what a clutch save. Not over yet. Panda had another chance at that. That was too close for Mock It.
Fantastic read from Shazette and a passing play. Right now, we see the Pocket boys are doing a great job of seeing each other on the field and seeking out those passes.
Absolutely incredible start from Aces, showing me exactly why I don't need that caffeine burst. I got EU Rocket League, especially Aces Rocket League. Mystic trying to even up the score, though, as he gets up in the air and puts some pressure on in the box. Can't quite do it. They do lose control. Fairy Peak will have to take that one back to Mystic off the wall. Meeting them at midfield, though, is Panda a little bit overreaching there. Shazette in net, Pashy taking control as they move down the field. He's got a couple people up for a pass, but he can't connect with that one. They will have to try again in the midfield. 2 Mock It members up in the air. Fairy Peak with follow through. Smart play from Shazette to get that away. Stays on the wall. Incredible spider touch from him. Does manage to keep that scoring opportunity at bay and pushes it back to the field. 2 minutes in, still only 1 goal up for Aces. Still looking dominant both on defense and offense. Almost a chance there for Mock It as they're starting to roll into offense. A little bit of a late start to that offense, though.
You see, those first game feelers kind of coming out of both sides. When you get into a competitive game that has this much on the line, everyone tends to play just a little bit different. Everyone seems to play a little bit more aggressive. I mean, you know how much is on the line right now. They don't want to take that 4-month off. They want to make sure they can keep competing. So that first goal went out, and then we see both teams.
What a pass play right
take too
now,
many risks.
That's going to be a Fairy Peak. The placement was beautiful. The passing plays were precise. Incredible play to tie it up.
That touchdown, I cannot believe he got that. Mystic to K-Dop,
so
and then
good.
Fairy Peak cutting it all the way across the net. Fantastically read by him.
Well, he knows Pashy's coming in hard. He expects the short side touch to get the ball in quick. Puts it to the far side, 1 step ahead of Pashy. They even it up at the halfway mark. We're back to where we started. We'll see if Shazette can get one in just off the post. A follow-up, though, from Panda, and quickly, within 10 seconds, back into the lead.
A nice hard clear that just didn't go answered. I mean, that Shazet actually almost put that on target and it wasn't going to get blocked either, but it came off that side. No one read either. If you're on defense, you either need to stop that on the wall or read it as soon as it comes off. When neither happened, they had so many opportunities to just take those shots.
That kickoff momentum taken into the hands of Aces as they put themselves back in the lead. 2 minutes left. Sure, we'll see an answer from Mocket, though. They've started to warm up now. And I already like the passing plays both these teams are getting on. Right in front of the net, Shazet kicks that one far. Just past K-Dop. Could have been dangerous as he was the last in net. Pashy by themselves. The solo play shot on net should be saved. Sarah spot all three defenders there.
Oh.
Just barely keeping that one out on the edge. There's another shot, though. Relentless pressure coming out from Aces as Pashy keeps up this pressure by himself. Although now Shazet, the last one back, as Pashy and Panda move back. That's a shot off the backboard. K-Dop trying to get a passing play started, but Shazet will clear that one to the side. And right back down in quick transition back into offense. Very little time on defense spent for Aces. Mocket will have to try once again to get a hard clear here. But they are being pressured now by Aces. Pashy keeping the low game, trying to go for the mind game. Knows one guy's in net. Fairy Peak keeps his composure and puts that one away to the side.
Pocket seems to be doing a good job controlling the field, but they have to. Well read by Pashy, though, while it was a risky situation, and now passing plays between two. No one's going to go for this third one. Oh, it almost went unanswered again.
That was risky. Shazet was creeping for a shot there. But as you said, these passing plays are already fantastic. I love what I'm seeing out of these two teams. A good start to our day for EU Rocket League. Pashy to the side. Shazet, Panda moving to net as they watch K-Dop move in. Fairy Peak and Mystic both creeping. Ready for a touchdown. Fairy Peak misses that one. Mystic to pull in to give him support here. Shazet the slow game. Looked like he tried to pinch off Pashy, but wasn't going to work. Met at midfield. Panda will have to get in the air to keep that pressure away. With 30 seconds left, they just have to hold on to this lead. Ooh, and this is going to be rough now. Pashy did miss that clear, trying to buy themselves time. Fortunately for them, Shazet does meet the ball in the air. Trying back at midfield as Mock. Drop down, almost a touch from Fairy Peak. Mystic trying to keep this play alive with 10 seconds left. That's all they can hope for. K-Dop, one final chance on Pashy. Drops from the heavens and dunks away. Didn't put it in, but that's all they needed to buy themselves some time to allow themselves to potentially get this win as long as that ball touches the ground. And there it is, Pocket Aces with the first win in our qualifiers for EU.
A bit different than what may have been predicted. As we know, Mocket came in here doing really well in just very recent tournaments. But whenever anything happens at this caliber, anything happens at a stage of this size, everyone just plays, I don't even want to call it their A game, usually like their A+ game. Everyone brings it, usually what we've never seen before. That's why whenever I go into things like this, I try and not make mental predictions because things always happen. I mean, look at yesterday. What?
Yeah, right? Radiance, what?
Yeah.
Please?
So just in general, that happens because all of a sudden when you light a kind of fire underneath any of these teams, they're going to bring out things that maybe didn't even know they were capable of. So, yeah. I mean, 2-1, it was pretty close the whole time. Both teams had equal, I guess, control the ball. No one did anything too outlandish. I did see some really good passing on Mocket.
Incredible passing. I mean, both teams actually had some good passing. Mocket was a little late to start to it. I know it's a couple times I saw Mystic throwing the ball away. They had control and they had all three ready to push forward and just gave the ball away to midfield again and put right back on defense. They can avoid that and keep up with those passing plays. I think they'll be able to keep strong in the next match. Again, very close match. But we know, again, Mocket has been dominant, but there have been their off times. And hopefully today isn't one of those days for them. And they're able to keep up this pace. Because this isn't the day you want to have an off day at all.
Definitely not. And I know there's a fair amount of individual play that can come out on this pitch particularly. These 6 players, I mean, you have some really high stakes dribblers just in general on this pitch right now. And they're going to want to slow it down if they have the opportunity. But they have to be careful because if you slow it down in the wrong place and your team's not prepared to drop back to help you, or you only flick it over one and there's somebody there to follow up, people are getting better at reading it. They're not going to let you take advantage of a dribble situation if they have any say in it.
Well, we already saw a couple of them slowing the pace down a bit here and there. I like to see that they change it up. Coming into game number 2, we'll see if they do just that. Once again, Pocket Aces versus Mocket Esports. Pocket now up 1 in the series. Aces looking to keep that going forward as they start an attack early on in this best of 5 qualifying match. One of these teams is getting themselves a spot into league play for EU, RLCS Season 3. One of them will drop down the lowest. Try again. K-Dop has full control, throws it up to a teammate. Fairy Peak tries to keep that moving forward. Will back off instead. Pashy with Panda ready to put the field. Panda, good recognition of the lost control there from Pashy. Moves in quick to send that one out to his teammate. Shazette can't get there in time. The Mystic will be out of the play now. Shazette moving forward. Rough spot though, can't get control. Finally, Mocket with a chance to break to the other end for some scoring chances. Good dunk by Mystic there, can't get the second one. Right back down to the other end. First minute of gameplay, neither team getting any real play started up as they are pushing each other's corners.
It seems Fairy Peak seems, I don't know, a little bit out of rotation. There's a few
Oh,
times.
there's no one there. Shazette rushing to make that save. That was, I just assumed he would be there.
I did not expect the shot from there, but we see Fairy Peak a few times. It's like he doesn't know where he wants to be. He got caught in the corner trying to get a weird touch on a ball that was coming over him when somebody was a net to clear over him. I think if they can iron that out, they might be able to keep a bit more control and put a little more threat.
Well, as we said, sometimes Mocket can have those off days, and that could be the reason why right there, at least one of them. Let's hope that gets cleaned up. Still 0-0 though, approaching 2-minute mark. At this point, Aces was up in the series, or in the game last time, game number 1. There's a chance there from Mystic. Kept it low though, Panda was ready for that one. Nice hard shot from Panda. Keeps that moving hard. K-Dop maybe not the best touch. Gives that one to Pashy, but he loses control quickly back to K-Dop. Some midfield back and forth here. Both teams try to get control. Watching for each other's touches. Mystic to follow. Puts it down, and that's going to make it in. What a touch off the backboard to himself, and Mystic, the clutch goal.
Full control of this ball. Violent Panda, he tried. Woo! He tried so hard. He just wanted to touch that over, nice and graceful to the corner, but he wasn't actually able to get a hard enough touch on that or early enough.
That was a good read from Mystic. And great placement to get that underneath the defender and still managed enough power to get it in before anyone could defend it. And
Fairy Peak!
One off the kickoff, quickly extending their lead.
2-0. Looks like they really want to tie this series up, but there's still over half the game left. But this pass up to Fairy Peak, little circumstantial. The moment he noticed he was caught up there, teammate's like, here, you take it then since you're already there. You got a good redirect. No one was there for the block, and it gives him a 2-point lead.
I notice a lot of those happen off kickoff because you may have someone out of position from that kickoff, but your opponents don't have boost to save it. Great time to take advantage. Fairy Peak did exactly that. Was in the right position this time. They're going to try it again, see if they can get 3 here. 2.5 minutes left. Mocket moving up the field slowly but surely as finally the defense from Aces manages to get that ball back down into Mocket's end, but a demo there will buy some time for Fairy Peak to pass that up to K-Dop. As they move that down the field, Mystic waiting at midfield for his chance to move in, and this is it right here, a shot to the far side. 3-0 now for Mocket. This is a much different story.
Some miscommunication, watch this. It goes up the wall and Shazette bails immediately. He knows he would have to do a really wild aerial to try and take that. So he's like, you know what, my teammates behind me, they can come up for this. But there wasn't a communication that established that. No one came up to follow. 2 people sitting in net just waiting for that shot. You're not going to stop a shot that close with that pace.
2 minutes left now, and we find Aces trailing behind by 3 goals. Probably not where they want to be. We'll see if they can pull it back, but right now Mocket is looking really confident with their touches to each other. Almost an answer from Shazette. Off that sidewall, Mystic does manage to save that. Some pressure starting to come up from Aces. We'll see if they can get a play developing. Not like that when you give the possession away. K-Dop with a hard clear. Just trying to buy themselves some time to get some boost. Pashy with a soft touch. Won't make anything out of that one. Fairy Peak does win that 50-50 to Mystic. Mystic up so quick to every single one of these balls in the air. And that's allowing them to have this lead right now as they are able to move back down onto offense fairly quickly. Fairy Peak can't get that one past Shazette. Mystic moves in quick. K-Dop ready for a pass out if it comes. Moves into the corner. Instead, a shot himself. Shazette keeps that one out. A nice soft touch to Panda. Passing play up the field for Aces. But there's Pashy out of the play. Just demoed. Mystic has a chance to move forward himself now. His teammate's way back, maybe expecting a push out from Aces. 1 minute remaining, 3 goals down. They need to get something started up. They want to have a chance to even get this one into an overtime, as Mocket looking dominant on the field this game.
The speed from Mocket has just been extraordinary so far. We see so many times anyone from Pocket Aces trying to get up for it, and they're just getting beat out. Pashy, he trapped the ball in his defensive half. He tried to push it up the back wall, but somebody was already there for Mocket. But we see them kind of adjust here and there. I saw Pashy go really quick for a ball, and what that actually does is it pulls someone from Mocket out, forces them to now be out of position, and then they can try and take control.
Twice now, Pashy been taken out of the field. Not sure if this is targeted or he just happens to be in the wrong place at the right time for Mockett to do so. 15 seconds left, though. I don't think this one's coming back, and Mockett just looked absolutely incredible. Mystic was so quick, getting up to every single touch from his teammates, and it's just allowed them to push on offense way more than I think the Aces were really expecting. And now we're all tied up in the series. Once this ball touches the ground.
Once this ball's done. No, we're not. Now we are.
Thanks, guys.
3-0, though. Not what I would have expected, but as I said, most unpredictable day is going to be qualifier days, which make them that much more fun. But 3-0 for Mockett. They had so much pace that game. It was so hard for anyone from Aces to try and gather control. I saw a few times Pashy tried to slow the ball down, put it on his hood, let it trap. He was on his own half. He felt a little bit more safe. So he pushed it up the back wall, and then he's like, all right, I got a second to go for this. And as soon as it even like left his hood, someone already from Mockett was just flying in, pinched it off the side, tried to pass it in.
Absolutely.
And then about 20 seconds later, I see a similar bounce coming in. This time, Pashy doesn't even hesitate. He goes up as fast as he possibly can. Someone from Mockett whizzes by because he beats them to it. And then everyone from Mockett kind of had to readjust. Like, okay, he missed. We don't have that aggression on. Pashy's got control. They had to drop back. So if they can interrupt that play a little bit more, interrupt that aggression, just stop it once, it's going to force Mockett to have to readjust very quickly. They're like, okay, well, now we're on 2v3. We have to be careful.
Well, the thing I'd like to see Aces start getting to is a little bit more of the air game. I mean, for me, that second game was strictly Mockett in the air. As I said, Fairy Peak, there were a lot of contests from Aces, of course, but Fairy Peak was winning a lot of those. And as I said, Mystic was up, finishing those off to push at least out of their own end. They didn't have to spend a lot of time on defense. And if you're not on defense, you're probably not getting shot on.
Yeah.
And that gives them a lot more time to set up those offensive opportunities and get goals. And that's where we saw a bit more of a lead than we did in the first game. Game at number 3, though, might be a different story. Both these teams have the potential to pull away with a win in this series and get themselves a league spot for the EU Season 3 qualifiers here, or league play, sorry, as Aces and Mockett Esports drop down into Game 3. Both at a point now. We'll see if that pace keeps up for Mockett. Mystic just going in at this point. He's ready to keep that flow moving forward. And so is K-Dop. One defender left, but he loses control. Shazette managed to regain control of that one, allows his two teammates to get back. Now Pashy moving back up the field by himself. The solo play wasn't able to get that one out for Panda. He still commits to that one, though, leaving Shazette by himself against 3 attackers. Scary spot. I don't know how it didn't go in. Too soft of a shot from K-Dop, and Pashy able to keep that one out of the net.
Well read by Pashy, trying to take that shot. It was a little bit of a gamble. Does you know Pashy's a bit of a gambling man?
1 minute passed by so far. Already chances for Mockett. 2 shots on net already, showing that they wanted to keep the pace up from game number 2. Doing exactly that now. Aces need to start formulating something, finding themselves in a weird spot on defense a couple times already now. Hopefully they'll be able to manage to get something together here. Pass with Shazette a little bit too far forward, won't be a play towards the net, but at least a touch buys some time. K-Dop, nice little control there, gets himself the boost and the ball past the midfield. But Shazette with a hard clear, give away possession. Actually a pop-up, could be someone from Aces there to contest it. No one. Mystic, of course, once again up in the air first. There's Shazette with a shot to the far side. A teammate up for that. Panda tries to come from the flank. Didn't work out for them. Fairy Peak has his number. K-Dop with a clutch save there. Keeps them at a 0-0 score. 2 minutes passed already. No one with the ball in the net yet. Mockett looks strong at the beginning, but the second minute has been more of an Aces story as they're starting to figure out what they need to do one at a time, slowly chipping away at that defense as they send someone towards the net. There's Pashy with a shot. Mystic does clear that back to midfield.
I heard this. Oh, there it is, the second one. I heard the sound of the first demo and realized there hasn't been a whole lot of physical play. And I think if you're going against a team as fast as Mockett, you're going to want to just try and mess them up any way you can. On retreat, try and get a demo or 2. Somehow they just got their Fairy Peak, trying to pinch that out from the crossbar, and then getting there again on the back wall.
That read off the roof was incredible for Fairy Peak, but not going to work out for them. They can't get it out of their end, and Shazette grabs one into the net.
Fairy Peak, that was a fantastic read, but take a look at this. It bounces so unfortunately off of that death corner right in that side. One of the hardest things to read. There was such a marginal...
Death corner.
The death, I hate it, man. It kills me. There's such a tiny margin of readability in that corner. It's very tough. At a high level, they're way better than I am at it. but he wasn't. It was right in that awful corner.
Right back out. That was so good. I think he got a little bit of a drift in there too. I gotta watch this one on the ground. That was a scary spot to be for Panda. Backwards. Look at that, just a little pop to get that over the defender. It's not what you're doing.
That shows actually immense control of his car. He was able to get underneath that ball and control it all within a half a second of getting the flick over a defender who's faced the wrong direction. The thought process he had to go through had to be blisteringly fast.
A quick answer there for Aces, and they are now back in the running here. 2 minutes left. They try to get another play started up. Shazette, nice little drop there, but isn't enough power to set anything up. Mystic is able to clear it, losing possession, though it'll quickly end up back in their own end. Thankfully, his teammates recognize that. K-Dop does meet that one on the wall. Shazette to the far side. Panda trying once again for a flank. I've seen Panda doing this a couple times now and just missing, but it might eventually work out. A Droof drop.
Oh my!
And Bashy somehow gets under that one to secure the goal.
Bashy, I watched him. He came off the wall and tried to touch us at the shot set. It got met by a defender, but he went so quickly that it was going to bounce dead in front of net. Positioned himself accordingly and put them up in the lead.
No one in net to defend that one, even if it wasn't that quick of a play. And Aces find themselves now in the lead very quickly. Shazette gets taken out of the play off the kickoff. Panda still able to put pressure on, though, giving him time to respawn. Ooh, a good dunk from Mystic gives him time to move forward. Fairy Peak K-Dop moving up quick, recognizing the opportunity here off the backboard. K-Dop will be up quick, but a good clear from Panda. Kills that play right away. Mystic maybe too far forward, almost. Is able to get back. Chip to himself, but misses the boost. Manages to get a pass up to Fairy Peak, a shot on net. Good precision from them. Fortunate for them, they're playing a team that knows how to defend. Is able to keep those good plays out of the net. Almost missed it, creeping one into that far side.
Violent Panda almost whiffing that entirely, but thankfully no one was able to turn that into anything. Pashy, I know he wants to take control of this. He's doing a good job of taking it off the sidewall and giving it to his teammates, and everyone's always there. There's someone that's positioned mid. They're poised and ready for those passes.
There are a lot of passes really fast off the roof, I've noticed. The Aces are doing a great job of reading, and that really helps because those are difficult sometimes to get a control of. If you're able to do that on offense, you get goals like we saw before. 48 seconds left for a goal to come back from Mocket, though. Otherwise, Pocket Aces will find themselves at match point.
Set.
Tries for the fake, I think, and there's a shot from Panda, but stopped by K-Dop in the right place. Keeps that one out, keeps them alive. 30 seconds left now. They move forward, but they lost control. Shazette will drop himself to the ground very quickly. I like what he did there. A soft touch to himself, get on the ground, get control, try to keep the pressure on, but back to their own end. Fairy Peak does manage to somehow get an underside touch there, put it to the short side, and we're tied up again.
A man versus an army. I have no idea how he got this past all three. Watch this. Everyone went out for it. All three of them, and Fairy Peak still manages to eke it through them all. I think they all just mess each other up, trying to go over the same save. Maybe they all shouted, "I've got it" at the same time, and they all tried to pull back. I don't know, but Fairy Peak manages to squeeze it underneath all three, tying up the game with only 20 seconds left.
Well, if the ball was there, they would have saved it. No, that's good. No.
Oh, my.
Panda just keeps it off the goal line as that was edging towards a goal there to bring them into the lead, but we're still tied up with 5 seconds left now. Shazette trying to get one final ditch play here. Pashy will drop it to the ground, and we hit an overtime now between Pocket Aces and Mocket Esports.
Tied up in the series and tied up in the game. I expect nothing less.
There's Panda, though, off the kickoff. Not going to last long. Aces pulled himself another win.
We see this happen so often. So many short kickoffs off of an overtime. I don't really get why it's so different than not overtime, but it happens a lot. We see overtimes end within the first 20 seconds constantly.
I think it's honestly, it's the teams that know that you can change everything off a kickoff. They're like, well, let's do it right now before they expect anything.
But it can be such a risk.
It's true, it is risky, but it's oftentimes you'll see those teams that make those risks get the incredible plays. You know your teammates or your opponents don't have boost off that kickoff, or at least a lot of it. You can get a quick play started and get control fast, you're very likely to get a goal. And that's why the momentum can change very quickly off kickoffs.
And to kind of educate for those that may not know why kickoffs, can be so different. Everyone's positioned opposite, but in the same.
Yeah.
Like, everyone knows that they're going to be approaching the ball.
Symmetrically.
It's symmetrically, but
symmetrical.
I think it's like, yeah. Either way, everyone starts off with the same amount of boost, and everyone knows kind of which positions are going to go for what. So you know generally, all right, if this guy wants to cheat up, he might, and then someone else is going to go for boost. You can read really quickly who does and doesn't have boost. And kickoff's the only time you one of the few times, I should say, that you'll be 100% confident in when people will or won't have boosts.
And speaking of close calls in here, I want to go back to this one that was on the goal line there. I think it was Panda that tossed it back out of the net. So close to dropping in. These are scary spots for defense, and it's like a lot of times you'll see teammates panic, but Panda was able to just come in slow enough to be able to clear that back out. I've seen people put it in their own net because they rush too hard expecting a shot from their opponents. You have to maintain your composure on that.
I mean, keeping your head cool, especially on defense, is hands down something that you need to have, especially at a level like this, because a lot of shots are going to be directly into your net, and they're going to be very nicely placed on a target. So if you don't keep your head cool, you're just going to do what you just said, probably, Leaf, and score on your own net.
I do that just a lot anyways, but we have a match point right now. Aces are looking to secure themselves a spot into the European Season 3 League play. Right now, as Mocket looking to be dropped down into the lower. We'll see if we go to Game 5. And if yesterday's any indication, we'll see a Game 5. 30 seconds in, already a demo and a shot on net there. As Aces are moving forward, Mystic trying to turn it around to the other way. Shazette taking his time, knowing his teammates aren't there. Shazette's such a smart player. I've seen a lot of good decisions from him lately, but Fairy Peak also good, almost getting that one off the crossbar. Couldn't read it just right. Good amount of pressure at midfield from K-Dop will allow Fairy Peak to get back and get some boost. And now he can move himself forward. Keeping some pressure at midfield here, not allowing Aces to break out of their own end. They want to get an early goal, set themselves in the lead. Gives them a bit of an advantage. Having that point on the board. Fairy Peak off the backboard. Could have gone for a shot, but saw two defenders. Said, not the best idea. Mystic, we've seen him get those crazy angles before. Tries just again. That's actually a shot for Fairy Peak. Makes it past both defenders. A little bit of a weeble wobbly there from the defense. And they aren't able to keep it out.
I mean, that touch by that defender actually backfired. I think it might have been Shawset that accidentally landed on his own ball, put it towards his own net. I think the issue was that was 3 shots back to back to back from Mocket. They did a great job of keeping the aggression on.
Looked like Northern Gaming.
They looked a little bit, yeah, back in the old days when you just couldn't beat them.
The good old days.
But, you know, keeping that aggression on, it forced Pocket Aces to try and, you know, sit there and keep the defensive structure up. With the moment that their own defender kind of put it in a weird direction, it was unpredicted, and then they couldn't get back in time.
Ooh, Shazette trying for a nice little underside touch to squeak that under the defender. Does miss it by about an inch or so. Minute and a half pass. We only have 1 goal in. Mocket Esports in the lead right now. Looking to bring this to a game number 5. But Aces putting some pressure on here. Looking to even up the score pretty quickly here. K-Dop does get a touch. Good read off that corner there. Showing why they're at this point. Good amount of skill in that read there. Shazette can't get that over, but gets to the ground. Waits for a pass from Panda. Saw it might be coming towards him. It does, but notices Fairy Peak is there. Backs off instead. Shazette, nice clear. Off the wall, Pashy there for support, right beside him. They're gonna have to leave that one back to Panda as Mystic does clear that one past midfield now, pushing that halfway mark.
Panda's gotta be careful. Both boosts were just stolen from him on his own half when the ball wasn't even there. So right now you've seen he's been back for so long. He's in net, he's gonna have to take this. He does come out in time. If you know you're low on boost, you're gonna have to contest those as early as possible.
Well, you do, you wanna move forward and cut those angles down. It's goaltending 101. Give them the least amount of spot to shoot on, but a miss from the defender. K-Dop can't get the double tap. Would have been incredible. Just off a little bit, and they will find themselves back on their own end. Mystic misses the touch. Is able to turn that one back around, but still a scary spot as Pashy tried to force one through. 3 defenders there for Mocket, but they don't look to be in a good spot. Trying desperately to clear this one. We have a lot of pressure coming out from Aces. They can't manage to find a spot in the back of the net, but they're not done yet. Pashy tried to get a play up to his teammate, but it goes to Mystic instead. They turn this one around. 2 minutes left. Only 1 goal down. Aces looking to make some moves, try to take advantage of that misstructure on the defense there from Mocket, but they couldn't manage to squeak one by. Another chance here. Mystic will get that out. And Fairy Peak puts that one towards the net. Shazette is back.
Fairy Peak was actually able to get a dunk on that, and it will get read by Violent Panda.
Oh, what? That's going to find the net. Panda with a long clear and no one there to save it.
I think it was just a matter of misreading. Oh, here we are. We see over on the left-hand side. You're actually not going to be able to see him from this camera. On the side boost. Someone is at the side boost waiting to pick it up.
Boost can't beat.
Yeah. He saw one of his teammates in net and the other one in the corner, and he probably wanted to center himself off a little bit more just in case that happens. That was an exceptionally hard shot from the opposite side of the pitch.
Ooh, that's a rough spot, though. An answer coming in from Mystic quickly, putting themselves back into the lead within 10 seconds.
What a response. This hit from K-Dop so high up there. Pashy ended up hitting the crossbar instead of the wall. That is one of the other small advantages of doing these quote-unquote Spider-Man safe clears, is when you're on that back wall, you A, don't really need to use as much boost because you don't need to actually lift your car, you just want to get there quick, and B, you have a little more angle if it does hit that top wall. You don't have to worry about avoiding the crossbar.
We've seen a lot of quick answers actually from both these teams in the last 4 games now. And it's really hard to tell which way it's going to go. Those kickoffs change everything between these two teams. They know how to capitalize. But down a goal now, approaching that final minute of gameplay. Rocket Esports looking to pull themselves to a game number 5, keep themselves alive on the upper bracket here. Looking to make this a real contest. K-Dop with a hard clear down. Fairy Peak trying to get something playing off of that one. Mystic is there with K-Dop. K-Dop was ready. Bashy just plowing through him. Buys himself a little more time on defense. As Fairy Peak didn't have the best angle on that. Actually clears that one for aces and allows Shazette to move down the field with Pashy. Out to Pashy, he's a little bit too close. He goes for the demo, but he misses. Would have been incredible as Panda followed up. Very smart play from aces if that had worked out.
It's hard to notice those in the moment, but somehow Pashy was able to recognize that it was a 2v1. He went straight for goalie, but his bump was not nearly as good as he was hoping. He couldn't get the demolition.
I actually love that play. If you know you're in a position, don't back off. Do something with it. Incredibly smart play from Pashy and the aces, but it wasn't enough as they are down a goal, and Pashy just misses the chip he wanted, but he is a ground player. We know he can get this back to the other end very quickly. He does. Panda too far forward for Shazette, and that goes back down to the other end and drops. But look at the control Pashy had to even turn it around like that and give them another chance with 1 second left.
I'm both impressed and a little bit sad. Pashy 90, for anyone that watches him knows he's an insane ones player. The dude has some of the most incredible control when I watch the game. He is an insane player. But watching him play ones is a treat, right? The dude's almost a magician. He actually, a lot of times earlier on in his competitive career, especially in threes, sometimes he had that habit of always wanting to slow the ball down because he knows he was good at it. But once the kind of meta of Rocket League turned into fast pace, it started to hurt him because he'd slow it down sometimes in unnecessary moments. He's gotten a lot better at knowing now exactly when that moment will be. He keeps the pace up when he needs to, and then he'll slow it down when he can. But just there, that little treat we saw at the end, that carry, his ability to turn around, get that gentle touch to pop it up so it doesn't touch the ground, and then still follow it through with a carry almost towards the net. That's what he's capable of, but he just doesn't have as many opportunities to show it.
Well, we saw that happen actually yesterday. A lot of times at that last second, a team needed to get a goal. And a lot of times they just end up back in their own end trying to pull it from the wall. Pashy says, we don't have time for that. I'm turning this around now. And it's incredible to have that kind of control. I mean, in the last minute there, I really impressed from a lot of stuff Pashy was doing. You even saw him, again, instead turning around to rotate back in, just went for a demo to allow Panda an open. Unfortunately missed. It would have been great if they got that. But a lot of smart plays coming from Pashy. But it's cool that you talk about that 1v1 game. We also have another 1v player on the other team, too. I know Fairy Peak is pretty well versed in those. So it's an interesting dynamic, and we have seen a lot of slowdowns from both teams.
I mean, we've seen a lot of control from Fairy Peak. You know, I definitely don't want to not mention him. Just his double taps and the threat he puts on. The moment he puts a ball above his opponent's net and starts to follow it up, everyone sees that threat. Another almost kickoff goal.
Well, we're down into game at number 5. We're tied up. Pocket Aces versus Rocket Esports. These guys are going the distance as we expected. These are the quals. They're intense. Trying to get themselves a spot into league play from the upper side of the bracket into the EU league play for Season 3 of the RLCS. One of these teams will drop down to the lower. Still a chance if they lose this. But why not get it right now? And we'll see if Rocket can. They're looking to start up some offense on his rotation back. Mystic takes out Pashy. Might buy him a slot to take a shot. Unfortunately for them, Panda was there to clear a hard back down towards their own end. Fairy Peak up to put that off the backboard. A drop down. Mystic tries to get the dunk. Just a little bit off, still towards the net. Scary spot as K-Dop tries to throw that one in the net. The defense from Ace is struggling a little bit right now. They can't get past midfield.
It's the pace that Rocket showed in the first game, and they're bringing it up again. Always looking for each other and always following things up. The moment any of them sees one of their teammates trying to get a hard clear, they're already cheating up. They're ready to try and chase that down to make sure they're the next ones to touch it.
Nice read there from Shazette on that air dribble. Puts that back down to midfield. They still couldn't get control, though. Pashy doing his darndest right now to get that past K-Dop. He does manage to keep that in there. Shazette finally with a chance to break that down to the other end. Pashy just missing it. Does take control though. That's a pass out to Shazette. He manages to connect with a side flip, puts it away for the first goal.
I don't know how Pashy managed to turn that attempt. Look at the recovery on that. And then he gets the pinch, and then he follows through with it. Flicking that right out to Shazette. And credit on Shazette for being there. Those are hard to read because you don't know how fast it's going to cross the net.
Well, he even had to side flip a bit to get to it.
So Pashy, like he knew he had to get it out there quick, so he did a front flip. He didn't want to slam it too hard, but Shazette had to make sure that he had a range that he could hit because he knew it could be a little bit slower, a little bit faster than predicted. It's so hard to know exactly the timing of your teammates.
Once again, I like to see it, and we saw it in that last minute of the gameplay there. Pashy's really starting to go off. A quick drift turnaround there allowed him to put some more pressure on. Got a pass out. All three defenders are there, so his teammates stayed back. They do find themselves back in their own end, though, as Maka tries to even up this score. 2 minutes in to our game number 5. Shazette, Panda will back off. Bumps out K-Dop there. Buys some time for Pashy. That's a chance for Panda. Oh, just misses off the backboard. No one will be there for a follow-up. Very smart play from him, though. Fairy Peak was ready for an attack.
Fairy Peak wanted to try and touch that around Shazette, but he just lost a bit of control. The idea is you want to keep the ball as close to your car as possible so that you know for sure that you can be the next touch.
There's a shot off the backboard for K-Dop. A demo himself, aggression from Mockit. They were mad about that midfield bump there that almost gave Panda a goal before. Trying to do that themselves. 2.5 minutes left now. Side touch, that actually scared me for a minute. It was hard to tell.
A little slower than I think they wanted.
That was going in. Mystic pops that one off the roof for Fairy Peak, up quickly for that. A soft touch gives that back to Mystic. Nice passing plays at the side there, but they do lose control eventually. Pashy one-go-one situation, that's scary to be, especially when you're K-Dop and you're backwards. He does manage to stop that one. Not because you're K-Dop, but because you're backwards.
You're a backwards K-Dop.
I'm like accidental BM there. Pashy, nice doink to put that one forward. Shazette with the pressure. Pashy off the sideboard. Panda a little bit too far back. Can he get the touch? Drops it down, but there is Fairy Peak. Manages to keep that one to the far side. 2 defenders cover the angles nicely there. Mockit trying to transition into an attack. They are caught at midfield. There's a nice hard clear off the roof from Pashy. Sends him back down into Mockit's end. Mystic misses that one, but because of that, Shazette also does. Panda doesn't. Keeps it at midfield. Some back and forth ping pong. Both teams try to get control of the play. Fairy Peak has a chance here now. Sends it too far though. K-Dop on the wrong side for the play there. Now we find Aces on defense with 1:20 approaching. Plays starting to come up from Mockit, and they're starting to look scary. And if they can catch Aces in a weird spot here, they could tie this one up.
I definitely think it's very possible. I'm loving watching Fairy Peak. The control he has with this car, he's always a threat, and Pocket Aces knows it. Every time he gets near that ball, they try and shut him down. They want to try and interrupt him before he gets anything, but here he is on the sidewall. Shazette wants to try and meet him, but he wasn't able to get the pass he was intended.
This is where aggression comes out. Final minute of gameplay. Mockit is down 1. You have to give it everything. It's do or die. You drop down to the lower. Still a chance, but may as well do it here, as I said before. Pocket Aces just have to hold off. Sure, a lot of going to defense. They know a lot of aggression is going to be coming out from Mockit right now. Risky plays will happen. You have to get a goal. 40 seconds left now. Find themselves back in their own end. A hard clear needs to come out. K-Dop to Mystic. Mystic sets that over. No, he doesn't. Shazette does get up for that contest in the air. Wins it. K-Dop out of the play. So does Fairy Peak. Misses that. Mystic rushing back to net. K-Dop stopping Pashy's advance there. A box out as well. The ball drops down for Mystic, but a miss. That's a rough spot. Mockit making a lot of mistakes right now, and you can't do that. 16 seconds left for them to tie this one up. Otherwise, they'll drop down. All Pocket Aces has to do is hold off this advance, but Mystic, a chance to far pass. K-Dop just too far behind that one. The pass too fast. Pashy clears that one down. A drop. Not yet. Mystic with a chance. Fairy Peak, K-Dop ready for that, but Pashy once again kills it, but to the side. K-Dop to Fairy Peak. Fairy Peak and K-Dop moving up the field. Panda and Shazette playing this slow. They know it can happen. Mystic still has a chance to keep it alive. We're still, that's going to drop. Doesn't get it to the corner. Pocket Aces, going to be your first European team into the RLCS Season 3 league play.
Bringing it all the way to Game 5 with overtimes and tie games and all sorts of nonsense. As close as can be. I expect to see both of these teams making it in group play. I don't think Mockit is anywhere near done. I think they're going to go to the lower bracket and they're going to be a little bit peeved. They brought it so close. All the way to Game 5. They knew they were just 1 goal away from tying it up, 2 goals away from winning it. Towards the end, we saw them get really close. But as you said, just a few little hiccups towards the end of that prevented them from being able to gather that up. But, got to give a lot to Pocket Aces. Yep. They did a good job of shutting down that pace. In Game 1, they seemed overwhelmed. In Game 1, it was going to be tough if Maka kept that up. But they found what it took to just interrupt that. Just, rustle some feathers around, get people to kind of get off their game. And once you do that, then you won't have to deal with the pace as much, and you'll get to play the game that you wanted to bring to the table.
You're right. But, they have Mystic on the team, a great uplifting guy, and I'm sure they'll be great in that lower bracket. But to tell you more about that bracket, we got the analyst guys.
That's us. Thank you, Leaf and Finable Carpet. Excellent match to start things off here. Love seeing matches go to Game 5. We had that happen yesterday as well.
A couple times.
Yeah, but ultimately, Pocket Aces able to advance into RLCS Season 3 play for the European region. Huge congrats to them. Mocket, they're not out of it just yet. We're going to see them a little bit later today. They are dropping down to the lower bracket where they will have another chance to advance into league play. And I think it was, Carpet said it. He said it. He fully expects Mocket to make it from the lower bracket. So, guys, thoughts on that match?
Mocket looked really strong here or there. I think their backboard plays, they actually got a lot of chances off the backboard. They just didn't actually execute those goals. So we'll see how they do in the lowers. They're known as like the top European team right now, so Pocket coming out with a big win here.
They've been winning almost everything. You go look at their wiki page, and they just have win after win after win. But the thing that put them over the top, in my opinion, one was Chassette's offense. He is such an aggressive player, and he's proven that he belongs in the upper echelon of players. And this upset, really a gigantic win for Pocket Aces. They are done. They've qualified. They're the first team in Europe to make it through. And Pashy, I thought, had some really good plays as well, especially the one play where he had so much space to work with, and he flipped by the ball, didn't really get it, but was able to get up the wall and pass that out into the middle and get that goal. It's right here, actually, where he just air rolls, gets control of his car, and then pops it out right to Chassette, who pounced on that ball. And Pocket Aces, we both got that one wrong. I thought it was going to be Mocket, but going all the way to Game 5, that was a really fun match to watch.
Should never bet against Pashy. He's done this time and time again with new teammates every single time. He always picks the right ones. First team in, they have to breathe a sigh of relief because that lower bracket in Europe, there's probably not going to be like as many blowouts like we saw like in North America, because all these teams are really, really strong.
I was expecting like maybe a loss and then Pashy LFT, but hey, doesn't have to do that.
Remember, he got all the way to the grand finals in
second place.
In Amsterdam.
Him and Violent Panda,
and Devo, of course. But speaking of Devo, more on him later. Speaking of Amsterdam, up next, we have the reigning world champions. Flipside Tactics will be on the stream. That's going to be your next match. Again, today we are counting down in Europe your top 8 teams in the region who will be advancing to RLCS Season 3 play. So, congrats to Pocket Aces advancing over Mocket. In your next match, we're going to see Flipside Tactics versus Z-Deck Nation. Stay tuned.